Welcome back. So, what we're talking about this week is introducing two dogs to the household. Um, if you just introduce a new dog to your household, you already have a dog there. You got a new dog, another dog because you want your other dog to have a playmate, or for whatever reason it may be. There's a few things that you want to do. Introducing a new dog to the household just to make sure that everything is on the up and up and there are not any issues. Introducing another dog to the household is more than just, okay, let them go, have fun with each other, and let them play. There's several things that can arise, but in order, like I said, to make it go on the up and up, let me just talk about a few things, all right? So first and foremost, when you talk about bringing another dog into the household, right? You don't want to get the second dog and bring them right into the house. You want them to meet on a neutral territory, right? So what I would usually recommend is, if you can, have them meet like in a park, so they can get to know each other, so you can supervise their interactions and make sure that they're comfortable with each other. If you can't meet at a park, usually what I would recommend too is if you take a walk around the neighborhood at a distance. So, maybe the other dogs on one side, the new dogs on one side of the sidewalk, the dog that lives there is on one side, and you just walk, until they get comfortable with each other. You want to avoid just bringing them right into the household. If you think about it, if a stranger, it's almost like a stranger just walking into your house, right? And you're like, okay, what's going on? This is my house. And then you would start to get territorial, right? Dogs are no different. So you want to make sure that when you introduce them, that is on neutral grounds and neutral territory, just to make sure it's up and up. This one's a big one. Everyone that trains with me know I'm a big fan of establishing a routine. A consistency is going to help the new dog feel settled in the home. So you just want to be consistent with everything. So feeding times, play times, training time, bathroom times. So whatever schedule that you have your current dog on, be sure that you have a new dog follow that same routine. Routines are going to be great so they're not getting in trouble. So just make sure whatever you do that you're consistent with that. Also, you want to make sure that each dog has their own space, such as a crate or a bed, so they can retreat to. So make sure that you have two of everything. So if you have a bed, put it in one area, put it in another area, crate, same thing. You always want to make sure they have their same space. And, talking about space too, we'll get to that because that comes into giving them attention. All right. And also another thing you want to do, you want to make sure that you train them together. It's a great way to help both dogs bond, and you want to make sure they're doing, the same things. They have the same obedience and things like that. So make sure that you're training them together. If it's too much and you find that it's too overwhelming for you to train them together, it's okay if you train them separately, the same things. And then once they have some focus and attention, you can go ahead and train them both together. Next up, you want to be sure that you give them each individual attention. It's important that you spend one-on-one time with each dog to build a bond, to prevent jealousy and competition between both of them. Because you may notice you'll be petting one, the other one runs up, and vice versa. So make sure that you give attention to each one of them individually. And if you're thinking to yourself, well, Pam, they're just going to run up to me, that's a perfect time to put one dog maybe in a crate or a gated area and give them like a bone to chew on or a Kong while you spend time with one dog, and do that vice versa, just to make sure you're giving them both attention. This one's a big one too. You always want to make sure you supervise their interactions. Make sure you supervise when they're together until you're confident that they can play without issues. I tell you, this is where the two dogs get into the most trouble. Make sure that you're watching them, making sure they're not, one dog's not being more dominant than the other. And at this point, we really get into play styles, which is a whole nother live. But essentially, a little quick tip about that is you want to make sure the play looks balanced. And balance just means that if one dog is chasing the other dog's allowed to chase the other, and vice versa. It should, yo-yo back and forth. It shouldn't just be one dog dominating the chase or, play or things like that. So just keep that in mind, that play should look balanced. All right. And last but not least, very simple, just make sure that you're taking your dogs for regular checkups and vaccinations that are essential for, your dog's health and well-being. So just to recap, all right, introducing 2 dogs into the household. Introduction, make sure it's on a neutral territory. 2, make sure you establish a routine so the dogs can be consistent throughout the household. 3, make sure they have their own space. So 2 beds, 2 crates, so they have a place to retreat to. 4, train them together. But remember, if it's too overwhelming for you, you could definitely do it separately and then bring them together to train. 5, you want to give them individual attention. So what I'm saying is, if you're petting and rub one dog, give the other one a bone so they're not like infringing and things like that, and then swap out, vice versa. 6, you want to be sure you supervise the interaction. Like I was just saying, it's a whole nother live, but a little quick tip. You want to make sure that your play between the dogs look balanced. So what that means, if one dog's chasing another dog, the other dog should be able to chase and vice versa. It should be a lot of back and forth chase. It should not be one dog dominating the chase or one dog dominating the play in general. So that's like the overall tip between play, but maybe I'll do another live on that. And number 7, like I was just saying, make sure you keep regular checkup and vaccinations. And you're probably going to, of course, Pam, I always do this, but I'm just thinking of my own scenario where I have one dog who stays in the house, who doesn't like going outside, and I have my other dog who's like out there in the woods and stuff. She could easily bring something back to the other dog. So you just want to make sure that either way, you're up and up with the veterinary checks and things like that. So I hope you got some good tips to introducing your second dog into the household. Be sure, if you have any questions, reach out. If you are if you're a person who listens to podcasts, be sure you can find me on Positive Dog Training Combos. So listen to me there on your drive or if you're working from home. But other than that, enjoy your week, and I will see you next week with another great topic. Bye.